Everyone, welcome to Real Knowledge Club Summit. Today we have one of the truly fascinating guests with us who was into US military for over 20 years and more. And he has profound wisdom and he's going to share with us how did he went through his journey from 20 years of experience, the leadership lessons, what you can learn from him, and military, the business development, the media production, content creation, video creation, and everything. And he's been working in the English market and the Spanish market, and who is none other than Goni with us, right? One of the truly a fascinating leader, and who has that entrepreneurial skill, leadership skill, and the business acumen. We can learn so many great things from him. Let's all welcome to the Real Knowledge Club Summit, and I'm super excited. Make sure that you take notes and everything. It's going to be like an incredible interview, right? Without any further delay, let's all welcome Goni to the Real Knowledge Club Summit.
Hey guys, how's it going? Really appreciate you guys having me here, and appreciate you reaching out to me as well. I know we've stayed connected for a few years now, and it's been pretty awesome. So appreciate you having me on here today.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be incredible. Connie, thanks for coming. And I believe a lot of people will get lot of insights to learn from you.
Appreciate that. I
Yep.
hope so.
Yes. Connie, I'm so excited and curious to know about your backstory, right? How did you come into military, then marine, and then now into the video production, content creation, entrepreneurship?
Yeah, no, for sure. So I graduated high school in 2003. I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And so I was kind of, I wanted to either go to college or pursue something else. But given the fact and the circumstance of, my situation back then, I felt like I didn't really have many options. So obviously, recruiters from the military came and spoke to me. They saw I was in really good shape. They saw that I had passed my ASVAB, which is the test to be able to join the military. And then they did the physical performance. Everything was good. And at the time being, when I was 18 years old, I figured, hey, this is going to be something that I can definitely use as a stepping stone to grow my career and perhaps just leave my hometown at the time, just because again there really wasn't much of a future there. And it's I was thinking I was just going to do a 4-year contract, and so far I've been in for like about 21 plus years, and right now I'm still in here, I'm still doing it, and I've had quite a journey. I started off as a infantry marine. I was a motorman, and then eventually became a mixed martial arts instructor. As the time kept going and the reenlistments kept continuing with my career, I did a lot of military advising. I did some security work in different parts of the world, and then lastly, right now, I had the opportunity to become a recruiter. I became a recruiter, but because of my knowledge, right, and experience from some of the stuff that I've actually done on the civilian side, which was physical fitness. I ran multiple gyms and whatnot. I was able to scale them up. I started off with my gym in 2015, and then I was able to grow to 4 gyms. And that was because I
Wow.
had a lot of experience and knowledge in sales and marketing. And so that helped me to grow my businesses up to 4 gyms. And then, of course, COVID-19 happened, right, towards the beginning of 2020. And so all the businesses eventually ended up shutting down. And that's when I raised my hand again and said, hey, you know what? Because there's different programs in the military of what you can do in service. I decided to continue to pursue a career in recruiting. And of course, that, worked out. I managed to move again out of my hometown. And then I'm actually residing and living here in Dallas. I work at the JRB, Air Force Naval Base here in Fort Worth. And so when I checked into the unit, they were like, hey, so what is it that you actually, know how to do? Because we've heard really good things about you. And so once I started having these conversations with my lieutenant colonels, and whatnot, sergeant majors, they were like, hey, we need this guy up here at the headquarters so he can pretty much help with, developing websites, doing video, photography, marketing, sales. And hey, it's worked out. It's been awesome. And so I actually transitioned this not too long ago, about maybe a few months. I decided to say, hey, you know what? From all the skills that I've had here in the military, I'm going to take them back again into the civilian sector and offer media production services. And so, hey, I've got clients. It's been going well. People are reaching out consistently. I take a lot of pride in what I do. I really enjoy, delivering good quality work, communication. And so it's just things that I know are very helpful in a business, just because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that there's clear expectations and that everything is running smoothly, right? You're going to have some frictions every now and then. You're going to have to turn off some fires here and there. But hey, I think I've worked well under pressure. And so I can't, I can't say the least of that. I know how to handle myself in these types of situations. So yeah, that's pretty much me right
Absolutely. Yeah, that's an amazing journey, right? Like you have worked like so many years, and then you have showcased your skill sets. Now the colonels and the top leadership at the army, military, like they are coming and like they're recruiting you. They're asking for the help of social media, everything. That's amazing. Now, my question to you is like, what are basically the key responsibilities? How do we, what are the things like you have learned since so many years, right? 21, 20 years. What are the leadership abilities one can learn if they are working as a military?
Yeah, I mean, definitely leadership is one, right? As you're going through the ranks, you're going to notice that you're going to develop yourself into that individual that you want to be, right? Unfortunately, and this is something that I've seen. I've seen good officers, bad officers, and as you're going through the ranks, you're like, hey, you know what? This is what I need to do, and this is what I not need to do, right? Like I need to stay away from this, and so you come up with like your own style of leadership. For me, it's more like about troop welfare, making sure my subordinates, my superiors, everybody's taken care of. And it comes down to a couple things. One, obviously leadership. You got to learn how to set the example. I'm a big firm believer. If you see it on my Facebook pages, I wake up at 2, 3 in the morning. Most people are asleep. I make this a habit because I know that, for one, I already have time that is taken away from me because of my responsibilities in the military, right? But if I want to run a successful business and I want to make sure that things are getting done, I'm always consistent about waking up early. Same thing, once I get out of the office, my responsibilities with the service are done. I focus on coming back into the business, physical fitness as well, just making sure I'm taking care of myself. But you got to lead by example. The other thing is accountability. I have people reaching out to me all the time saying, hey, I need help with accountability. I need help getting stuff done. And it blows my mind just because it's the simple things, right? That everybody should be doing, like, hey, waking up early, working out, prepping their meals, just getting stuff done. And they don't. And so that's the biggest thing I feel that, the leadership, the accountability, the communication, just being able to communicate with people, setting the expectations of what needs to get done. And that way, there's always a battle rhythm of the things that, are out there. And again, the responsibilities, right? Like everybody has a key responsibility. Everybody has something to do all the time. And so we delegate all the time. A lot of people sometimes say, well, I need to, I need to be perfect in everything that happens and that needs to get done. And sometimes that really doesn't help out the individual in itself, because if you're always expecting for things to be perfect, they're not, you know what I mean? And I suffered from this for years just because I wanted to have things be perfect and I would do them myself, until eventually I started learning and saying, hey, you know what? I have people that I can outsource and I can trust and delegate the responsibilities to. Now, obviously, it might happen from time to time. People might make mistakes. And for me, it's not like, okay, you're fired or I'm going to let you go. No, you made the mistake. I want you to learn from it. I want you to learn from it, because if you make this mistake again, then what was the lesson from that, right? The lesson here is like, hey, I made the mistake. I should learn to not do this again. I got to figure out how to fix it, right? And so I think this is how I've been able to grow as a leader. Again, just I'm very mission driven. Again, I have something in my mind and my thoughts, and I say, hey, you know what? I want to get this done. I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to, work hard, and I'm not going to stop until the mission is done. You know what I mean? So as far as the responsibilities, it's just, that's what it comes down to, just getting the job done, not making excuses, being productive. And, there's much to this, but, obviously I'm just covering the very basics, but those are things that I've just developed through time with the military and the service.
Absolutely love that. Waking up early, early bird catches its own. Second, taking the responsibility. The more responsibilities we take, the more success, right? Love that. And Gani, I have seen you like you have run like multiple gyms and everything, right? As I'm also doing the longevity summit and everything. My question to is how to stay fit, right? Like what are the pillars one has to do in order to live for like 100 years, and why it is important to come to gym. Like if you see majority people of the world, they don't go to gym. If you see even in India also, right? Like hardly like 10% or 5%, very less percentage of people actually go to gym.
Correct. Honestly, man, this is a really good question. Just because I've actually seen some videos on documentaries and on Netflix, and they talk about the longevity of life. And one of my goals is actually to live up to 100 years. That's why I find this
Amazing.
question very fascinating. But a lot of it comes down to just having a very important why. You know what I mean? Like I know some people don't pay a lot of attention to their physical fitness, maybe because they're stressed out that they need to make ends meet as far as paying bills, taking care of the kids. They have to do all these things, responsibilities, jobs. Some people work 2 jobs, 3 jobs, whatever. I get that. But at the end of the day, this is the way I see it. Like you have one body, you have one temple, you have to take care of yourself. If you're the breadwinner, right, and you're going out there every day to hunt so that you can make money and bring food to the table, you need to obviously take care of yourself, right? Because what
Correct.
good is it gonna make for me or do for my family if I'm sick and I'm not able to go out there and work and provide, right? And so I think a lot of people have this misconception wrong where they say, hey, like I need to provide, do this and that, and they'll take care of everything else except for themselves. When in reality, you do need to be selfish. I'm selfish. Like I know this sounds bad, but I always tell myself, and this again, I wake up early. I wake up super early to put in some work, and then it's a non-negotiable for me. This is a non-negotiable. By 5 in the morning, I have to be at the gym at least 2 hours minimum. That's it. If it's not 2 hours, then you know what I mean. I'm not gonna be happy because at the end of the day, this is what's gonna get me energized. It's gonna give me the endorphins. There's so many positive things about working out that you feel good. And I don't know about you or the rest of the people that are probably watching this, but think about it. Like most of, at least my zone of genius and creativity comes when I'm working out. I was just, lifting weights and thinking about the podcast this morning, and I was like, you know what, dude? Like, if I start my own podcast, what do I want to call it? And I came down to 2 names. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, man, I'm always thinking. My brain's always like going 1,000 miles an hour. But I think that's what I like about myself is just the fact that I'm so proactive. You know what I mean? And so I'm always about getting stuff done. And again, it's worked out. I'm very pleased and happy with where I'm at, and I'm still pushing for more. So working out is very very important. Like excuses are not gonna get you anywhere. It's just like they say, hey, never skip a Monday workout, right? Because it sets the rhythm for the week, and it does. You start working out every day, you'll start seeing really good results.
Right, absolutely, absolutely love that. And Gani, like if you see in the entire world, especially in America, a lot of people eat like too much of junk food, right? Like too much of junk food, like McDonald's, KFC. I think so. It's like everywhere, the Burger King and everything,
Yeah.
right? What food basically to eat and what not to eat, and what supplements to take and what not supplements, because you are were a personal trainer and everything, you have trained so many people, right? There are so many thousands of protein powders, so many brands and everything.
Correct. Well, this is a very broad question because what it comes down to is choices. If you've never done, for example, in my case, right, like I have an application where I track food and I track my calories. That application in itself, it's called Minded Diary, by the way. That gives you a graded estimate of what food to eat and not to eat. Right now, at the end of the day, everybody and anybody here who tracks macros like calories, right, will say, hey, well, if I'm somebody who's 5'7", weigh 160 pounds, and I'm super active, maybe I need 2,000 calories or 2,500 calories. I base it on calories, and I break it down into percentages, which is protein, carbs, and fat. And so I track numbers every day, right? This is why I'm so analytical with the data and the stuff that I track on a daily basis, because you got to think about it. If you wake up, for example, and you go to work, right? exactly 15 miles, well, you know the distance. That's already a number right there that's being measured. Same thing when you go to work. If you're somebody who has a 9 to 5 job, and you know that if you go to work for example, 8 hours a day, and you get $50 an hour, and you're supposed to be making $400, right? You see how I'm throwing all these numbers? The
Mhm.
reason I do that is because think about it, and it's going to make sense, right? If you go and put in a 40-hour work week and you get a $4,000 paycheck, but you're supposed to be getting a $4,000 paycheck, but you see a $3,000 paycheck, you're going to be like, wait a minute, where's the extra 1,000, right? It's the same thing with caloric intake. You either track and you either going high or you're too low. And that's why they say anybody who's in fitness or a dieter or a coach or a nutritionist is always going to say, hey, you need to stay below your calories so that you know you're losing weight. Now, again, I'm not going to say you can't eat pizza, burgers, because if you've heard of the terminology flexible dieting, you can flex it into the diet. But for the most part, being very realistic, if I had to say, and talk to you guys or tell you guys, like for somebody who doesn't track calories or doesn't have much knowledge in this, I would say, hey, just stay away from the fast food restaurants. Focus on eating home cooked meals. Why? Because you actually control what you're putting into those meals, right? For all you know, you go to McDonald's and they're using, very bad grease or whatever. When, at home, maybe you're using coconut oil or whatever, and it's 0 calories of fat. You know what I mean? So again, everything comes down to numbers, but it's a very complex question, just because, again, it's very broad. I can tell you, hey, eat this, not eat that. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm wrong. Again, if it's in your budget from calories and what I do, then go for it. But if you're somebody who's like, hey, you know what? I just want to make sure that I'm eating clean consistently. I'm tracking my numbers. Everything's, matching. All the data is actually fitting into place. That's how I do it. And that's why a lot of people hired me with coaching before, because they're like, hey, this guy's a macros expert. This guy knows his numbers. This guy knows what he's talking about. And you'd be surprised. I've had a lot of people who would show up either under eating or overeating, and once we calibrated their calories, their macro intake, man, they stopped dropping fat, building muscle. You probably saw the pictures. Very different physiques. Even right now, like I'm 40 years old, and I like to say that I still have a very nice physique, and I take care of myself because, again, it's the discipline of making it working out non-negotiable every day and still watching what I'm eating. I still watch it. Even right now, it's crazy. I'm 40 going on 41, and I've had to actually cut meat out of my diet. You know what I mean? I love eating meat, but I'm not be able to eat it as I used to before. So I've had to cut down to like maybe once or twice a month. Crazy, but it is what it is.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because I see like right now, India, like the diabetics capital of the world is India. The cancer capital is also like India. And when I was meeting like a lot of doctors, they were telling sugar is one of the biggest causes for like the diabetics. What is your take on it? Like sugar consumption? Because when I came to US also, everywhere I go in the hotel, even for the food, for the sauce, there is sugar. In the Coke, more than 50% is sugar.
Yeah, and it goes back again to the same thing. I think it just comes down to choices. Me personally, I stay away from a lot of the sugary stuff just because I know that it's going to cause those issues. And so again, I don't know. I guess my mentality is a little bit different per se, just because since I'm in the military and I have to wear uniforms, and as you can see, today's my pretty much. I'm working from home, but I still have the habit of, hey, let me change over and I lock myself in my office. I'm still in, some sort of professional clothing attire, shave, everything, the whole works, just because I know that I'm here to work. It doesn't matter if I'm in my home office or my actual military base office, but there's a structure that I haven't set in place. And so again, I would recommend to people, because I get it. Some people have a sweet tooth and some people just enjoy having a sugary drink or a sugary candy or whatever. That there's no right or wrong in if you want to have it or not. I get it. People are gonna have those temptations, but for me, my hack would be like, hey, do 80% clean eating, right? Whatever that looks like for you, and then that 20%, give yourself that indulge. Like, hey, if I have a Oreo cookie or Sour Patch Kids or whatever, yeah, have a few. Doesn't mean eat the whole bag. You know what I mean? That's the problem. A lot of people are in a hurry, or they're watching TV, they're not paying attention, and they're binge eating. They're overeating. And so by the time they realize, they're like, oh my God, I already ate all the bag of candies. You know what I mean? Like, hello, that's why you look the way you look. You know what I mean? Common sense, but it is what it is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have to take the right choices, right? It's always with us, like, should we do it or not do it? We should be mindful of eating whatever we have to take
Correct.
of that. And Connie, what do you think are the biggest challenges like you faced, right? Like transitioning from coming from military background to this online businesses, entrepreneurship, and how did you overcome those things?
Yeah, I'll be very transparent. So I've had to do the switches, right? Like from going to being my own self boss when I manage the gyms to being in the military. And again, there's expectations that are need to be met. It's tough, man. I think the biggest thing that I have that I would say is my enemy is time. I don't have time, and that's why people say, "Man, this guy's crazy. How is he waking up at 2, 3 in the morning every day?" Well, remember, I'm in the military. I work there 9 to 5. So between 2 and 5 in the morning, right? I wake up, I focus on the business, I go to the gym, I go to work 9 to 5, and then after 5, come spend some time with the family. And then guess what? Either go back to the gym or focus on the business again. So I have a full schedule. And so time is limited. So I've learned to be very wise with my time. I've had to literally set schedules, and like literally, like I have notes right here where I'm like, hey, this is my task for today. This is what's important to me right now. This can wait. I can push off for later on or whatever. But I have a list of things that need to get done because again, I am crunched with time, and it's challenging, but it's still doable. You know what I mean? I'm still generating business. I'm still following up on leads. I'm still talking to people. People are reaching out to me. It's awesome. I love what I do. I think if you have a passion for something, it doesn't matter, how many hours you're putting into it, because you're enjoying it and you're having fun. And I have fun when I'm doing all this stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely love that. And how do you basically, the next question what I have is like, how do you continuously like learn and like strive, right? Like you are helping your clients, you are also very in military, and now how do you evolve?
That's a good question, man. I think
Yep.
as you're getting older, you start becoming a little bit more wiser. And then as you're working with people, I've had, two instances where I've had people who I've been able to trust and I build really good relationships with. And then I've noticed that there's other people who are just very transactional. I'm not going to say that either or are bad, but to me, if you ever were to become a client of mine, right, because you're like, hey, I need video production services or I need some guidance or whatever, like I have the intention of becoming your friend, caring for you, and making sure that you're getting taken care of. Because I think being transactional sometimes it's a good thing, but it's a bad thing as well. Because obviously there's no attachment on there since it's just a basic transaction. But I think it's also bad just because if for whatever reason they're not happy with the service or they're just not happy with something and there's a lack of communication. If you notice, I go back to communication, then chances are you're going to lose that client, or chances are they're not going to want to hire you for future work. And that's where I think, there's a disconnect. And so that's why I tell people like, hey, when you're working with me, when you're under my wing, I'm here to guide you. I'm like your big brother for the stuff that you don't know how to do, right? Because obviously these business owners, anybody who's in the entrepreneur space, this, right? They wear multiple hats, and that happened to me in the beginning. I was the coach, I was the trainer, I was the owner, I was the janitor, I was a marketer. Like you have all these hats, and I'm like, dude, you can't do everything by yourself. That's why, again, you get teams, and as you build your teams, you start delegating these responsibilities. And again, same thing I will harp on over and over: accountability, communication, trust, and just everybody has a role and responsibility to get stuff done.
Absolutely amazing, amazing. Love that. And Gani, why do you think it is so important for like business owners to make videos, right? And tell us some examples of the clients whom you have helped, how they started to make videos and how they were able to attract clients and everything with your own example and others' examples as well.
Yeah, no. Very good question. Think about it. Anybody who's not on social media nowadays, either you're growing or you're dying. It's that simple, right?
It's like the resume.
Putting your face out there and saying, hey, this is me. I have a product, I have a service. And if you have a pain point, right? Like you talked about weight loss right now, there's a lot of people that they might hear like, oh yeah, this guy's a coach, right? But I
Yes.
don't know how to diet. He's talking about numbers. I don't know how to track numbers. That's a pain point right there. So if I'm offering somebody and telling them, hey, look, my goal is to help you lose 20, 30 pounds in the next 90 days. And here's a blueprint, here's a roadmap, and I'm going to hold you by the hand as your coach and your trainer. Chances are, because you're getting held accountable, there's communication, there's check-ins, there's all these things that are happening. Chances are that person's going to be successful. But whoever's, let's say they're watching the video right now and they're like, well, I like the fact that he's a coach and he's a trainer, but who is this guy, right? He's not on social media. He's not posting. He's a ghost. Why would I hire you? You're a ghost to me, right? So you're probably going to hire somebody else, right, who has more visibility. People like them. People trust them. And I think this is the biggest problem that I see with a lot of the businesses. And this is why I decided to do this, because I was like, man, there's a lot of businesses right now that could potentially be making 6, 7 figures, either, 6 figures a month or a year, up to 7 figures, right? Depending on what business that they're in. But they're just not posting their content. They're not selling their products. They're not selling their services, or even worse, people don't know this. How long does it take to edit a video? It takes hours. Hours. You know what I mean? So do you want a good quality video? Because if you want, any regular video, yeah, I can shoot it, upload it. But if you want to actually attract people and be like, wow, this video is awesome, it's catching my attention, people are gonna stop. They're gonna hear you out. And that's my biggest thing when I'm hiring my, when clients hire me, I tell them, look, the whole purpose of why we do this is to help you become the authority in your niche. We want you to become the go-to guy. I had a guy right now. He's my actual client. He had multiple videos out there. Somebody did somewhat of decent job, not too bad. But he posted his first video once I gave him the library of content that I told him, hey, this is what we're going to be doing for the next 100 days. And I kid you not, his first video is already at 2,000 views.
Wow, amazing.
Views, and that's just one video. He's probably on his third video today. And
it's an organic or like a paid ads?
No, was it an organic marketing? We're not doing any campaign. So we're literally studying the market, and we're looking at how all these trends are falling into place, and we're hitting the target. So my goal right now with what I'm offering is I have a strategy, right? And the strategy is simple. If you post 100 videos in 100 days, and assuming that each video gets 1,000 views, right? From, let's say, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, whatever, those views are going to add up. They're going to multiply. So where I'm at right now, and where we're at with video number 2, video number 3, that since we just posted this video this morning, we're like at 5,000-6,000 views. So the numbers are multiplying. I know for a fact that by probably video number 50, we're probably going to get to close to 100,000. Because you never know. Maybe one of those 100 videos might go viral and it gets 5,000 views, 10,000 views. So that already replaced 2 or 3 videos, right? And then I'm also taking into account that, obviously there's days like Sundays, for example. I pay attention to Sundays. Sundays is low. People are watching video games. People just want to disconnect from social media, and I get that. But we're still posting the content. And one of the things that people don't understand is that videos, for example, and even all the posts on Facebook, they're all digital assets. They can sit there for months, years on end, and guess what? They're still going to collect views. They're still going to get a set of eyeballs on there. So if somebody's coming into your world, per se, and they're saying, hey, I want to know who Gus Gonzalez is, or Gunny, I want to know who he is, and they scroll 10, 20 days, 30 days, 40 days, 50 days back, and they see all these videos, guess what? They're going to immediately assume that, okay, this guy is a videographer. This guy does marketing, content. He does consulting, blah, blah, blah. And people already start figuring out, okay, cool. And I see it all the time. People reach out to me. They're like, hey, I want a video done. Or, hey, I know that you're you focus a lot on helping people become more visible on social media, and that's the goal. It's just to again make people more visible on social media through utilization of strategic videos and content that's going to capture people's attention. You know what I mean? So I want to say I'm pretty good with that.
Absolutely, that's amazing, right? And I truly believe like videos are the most important thing. It's like the resume, right? While we were going for a college or like to get a job, we used to show resume. But in this 2024 AI era, if we want to showcase our skill sets, whether it is in professional life, job also, or like business coach, consultant, business owner, through videos, more people will come to know about them and like building that brand, right? It's one of the key most important things. I know that.
Yeah.
And Gani, I see like you are also expert in helping people become an authority, right? Like how exactly like you tell them and like within how many days and like how do you make them the leader in the industry?
So based on every business or individual that comes to me, I tend to do a Zoom call or an audit on their platforms on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, wherever they're on the most. And once I see where the problem is at, which is again, it goes back to just pretty much the inconsistency of posting, the inconsistency of not having good quality videos or attention grabbing videos. I come up with a plan and I tell them, look, here's my plan for the next 90 days. We are going to dissect this into different sections on what I need to make sure, people are getting the attention and the views from you. And then essentially like, I have a whole blueprint in place. And so I like to call it, we go by sequences. So like, for example, the first 30 days is like, okay, let's get, Alex to, show up on camera for the first 30 days, talking about the business, right? And talking about what he does. That's what's going to happen there is people are going to start seeing the videos. They're going to start liking him. They're going to start trusting him. And then 30 days go by, we focus on, hooks with videos where they grab the attention of the viewer, for example. And so in the second section is we start to doing things like where people are feeling they're being a little bit more loose, they're having fun, they're jumping, they're running, they're falling, they're doing stuff that's gonna like make somebody laugh, right? So again, it continues to reinforce within that second section, which is between the 30th and 60 days, saying, hey, this guy's still consistent, this guy is approachable, we like him. And then the 60 to 90 days, right, towards the tail end of these videos that we're doing is, hey, let's go back to business, right? And we mix it in. And so by the time, in my opinion, right, this is an opinion, I say, hey, if you went from being unknown and nobody had heard about you, but you were consistent for at least 100 days, right? There should be some type of attraction. There should be somebody that already says, hey, I like this guy. I know him. I want to work with him. And again, it goes back to the example I was talking to earlier. This guy flips homes, right? If you're probably going to see him through my page. And he wasn't really posting on social media. He wasn't really doing a lot of video content and whatnot. And then he's just been doing that right now. And I can tell you, he's seeing a lot of traction. And so I'm very confident. I'm confident that if we continue to do the work and we're continuing to post and we're just continuing to be consistent, right, we're going to get there. So I have no doubt in my mind that we're going to get 100,000 views or more within those 100 days. That's the whole challenge. That's the goal.
Absolutely. That's so amazing of that. And Gani, what do you think are the most important skills, right? Like every business owner, 1 to 3 skills they have to learn and to develop to succeed in this AI era.
And I think that you just hit it right there. Business leader, you have to learn to be able to lead. You have to hold people accountable, and you have to be able to you have to just be able to communicate. That's the biggest thing. I think the biggest thing is that again, maybe you have the leadership trait, maybe you hold people accountable and you delegate certain responsibilities to taskers and stuff, but if the communication is not being directed the way it should, something's going to go wrong, right? And so those three things are very important. So again, it's going to be leadership, right? Setting the example, holding people accountable to their roles and responsibilities, and the communication. How you communicate to each individual that you give them a certain responsibility or a role for them to complete is going to be vital. So those are my top three.
Absolutely. That was amazing. And Connie, what you think are your favorite books, right? Like which you will recommend, which had significant impact on your life and like your leadership style?
I think a lot of the books that I've read because of the military is the Art of War by Sun Tzu. That's something that a lot of people recommend, especially for business. But for me, more personally, just because of the military and the war tactics and the strategies, right? I read that. It just so happens that Sun Tzu, The Art of War, correlates a lot with business as well. So I think that's one of the biggest books I'd recommend. And then obviously for business and marketing, advertising purposes, Alex Hormozy, hands down. Like I have the two books right there. $100 million leads, and I don't remember the other book
Offers.
thing. Yeah, offers, $100 million offers. I have both those books, and I tend to cross reference. Yep, there you go. I have it too. Check this out. I have it right there.
Awesome.
So
Amazing, amazing. Love that. And Connie, for all the people who are watching this, right, Real Knowledge Club, if someone wants to collaborate with you, right, with any business owner, entrepreneur, right, what would you basically see in them, right? And if you were to hire someone also, what are the qualities like you see in them if you have to work with them?
I think that's a good question. So I've made mistakes in the past where, for example, I hire or I've worked with or collaborated with people who have the same skill set as I do, and it doesn't work out. The reason why is because we don't have, we're bringing pretty much the same thing to the table. But when you
Correct.
hire somebody who specializes in a specific skill set, right? Like, for example, I'm really good with sales, I'm really good with marketing, video production, but that other person is more is better at operations, right? Or obtaining results, or whatever the case may be, right? They might have money, whatever the case may be. It's best to that would be a better set of collaboration or partnership versus having two people with the same skill set, the same mindset, the same everything. That it just honestly it doesn't work out, and that's the mistake I've made in the past. It's the fact that I've had to work with people with that same skill set and mentality. Well, what can you really bring to the table that's not different or that we don't know, right? So again, that's why I say now, with experience that I've gained throughout the time and the years, is the fact that now I'm looking for somebody who has, for example, a year or two advanced in skills in computers or building a funnel or developing a video that I can develop, right? Like visual effects or whatever the case may be. And so again, all that varies. And so that's when I tell people, I'm like, hey, if you're gonna collaborate with somebody, make sure that they're not gonna. I'm not gonna say necessarily smarter than you, but are that they have a skill set or a vantage point that you don't have. Because if you combine forces, right? Maybe I don't have the money, but you have the money, but I can help you grow. That's a good partnership. Maybe you have the skill sets, but and I have the money, and you don't have the money. Guess what? We can partner up. That's a good partnership. You know what I mean? But if it's both of us, like, hey, I know how to count calories. I know how to exercise. Okay, so tell me, what can you actually bring to this partnership? Well, not really anything. We're just wasting time. You know what I mean? Like we're not gonna go anywhere. The idea is to be able to share those responsibilities and to be able to work in separate directions. Because at the end of the day, if you have a successful partnership, then you guys are always going to meet halfway, and that's the whole point.
Absolutely love that. One, it's like one person has to know certain skill sets. Like if someone is an introvert, the partner has to be extrovert, so that that match is going to be great, right? And one person can be good as the visionary, comes up with the vision, and another person good at operation, doing all the cutting the things, right? And making sure that you're focused on the right things. Absolutely love that. And Gani, whom you want to basically partner right now at the stage of your life, right? Which kind of people like you are looking to collaborate or partner so that if anyone is watching, they can reach out to you.
No, definitely. So right now, my biggest thing, and I posted this already multiple times, like I'm open to collaborations and partnerships. What I can bring to the table is the expertise of video production, the marketing strategies, and potential growth. So I have money to invest, of course. But if somebody has maybe a business that's already set up and they're struggling and they're stuck, they don't know what to do, I think this would be a good way for us to say, hey, what can we help each other to do to grow, right? So in my opinion, like for example, and this is something that I'm starting to work with somebody right now. They're into real estate. They flip homes, they fix them, they rehab them, they sell them
Well,
for $30,000, $40,000, right? And I'm like, okay, I don't have that skill set. I have the money. So if I give you X amount of money, that gives me some skin in the game, but I also want to learn. But if, let's say, for example, you're not good at marketing, maybe I can help you with that. So that way, if we're both invested in this property and we're trying to make $40,000, $50,000 from that flip, guess what? I'm going to help you market it. You're going to fix it. I'm going to market it. We both sell the property. We both make money. Make sense? And so that's, again, why I'm open to these partnerships. And again, I've had painters reach out to me. I've had real estate agents reach out to me. People who are just like, hey, man, I have this business or this skill set. I just don't know how to market it. So if you're open to taking some equity or investing in the business, and then we do this together to grow and get rid of it faster, or whatever the case may be, so we can flip it. Hey, why not? Let's join forces. Let's make some money. You know what I mean?
absolutely. That's amazing. I love that. And Gani, finally, for everyone who is watching at the Real Knowledge Club, how can people connect with you, learn about your journey, and if they need any help, how they can reach out to you? What's your
Yeah,
name
man.
on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, your website?
Right now. I'm on Facebook. I'm there under Gus Gonzalez. Can't really miss me. Obviously, you'll see a big Facebook cover says videographer Cadre Media. I'm on Instagram. I really don't use it. I will start using it a little bit more often. I've found more success. I think, at least from my experience, it's like, hey, if you find a platform that has really been working for you, stick to that platform. So I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and I'm on LinkedIn. But out of those three, Facebook is probably the most go-to page where you'll probably find me and see me there all the time, just because, again, I'm communicating with the people. I've got about, maybe I'm getting close to 5,000 followers so far, and it's just been an amazing journey. You know what I mean? I love what I do, and I love helping business owners and anybody who's a coach, content creator, course creator. I'm there to support. I'm there to help. You know what I mean? So I think that's the biggest thing. Is just, if anybody's looking for help, support in video production, marketing, stuff like that, they just need to put themselves out there. But unfortunately, well, that's why I have a job too, right? If they don't know how to do it, that's why they hire me and we go at it.
Absolutely. That's so amazing. Guys, to check out if you have any questions, do reach out to like Gani. And thank you so much, Gani, for sharing your incredible wisdom with all of us. Any last words you want to tell to everyone before like we conclude today's uh, interview?
Yeah, no, just for one, I really appreciate you having me on here. Anybody, again, they want to reach out, they want to do some work with me, let me know. I'm always open to collaborations. I'm always open to provide some tips, some support for you all as well. Biggest thing, entrepreneurship is hard, but if you don't quit and you continuously just show up and put in the work and you're just resilient, hey, you'll be fine. You'll be okay. So thank you for having me. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Gani, and thank you everyone for watching. Let's make a world a better place to live. Do share it with your friend, tag your friend. Do let us know what's your one big takeaway and what is that one action you're going to take after watching this interview. Let's impact the world, right? The more you make, the more you can give, and that's how we all can be happy and make an incredible life. And thank you everyone for watching. Have a great day, guys. Take care of yourself. Take care, Gani. Bye bye. See you all.
Later.